Sunday, everyone. Welcome back to the Upset Podcast. I am one of your hosts from the Great Upsetters, and I have the rest of the crew with me. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello,
Hey.
everyone.
Happy Sunday.
Hi.
It's snowing.
Wow,
Oh, yes, it
haven't
is.
glimpsed it yet, but I'm excited about that.
And quite cold. It will be 4 degrees in
Woo.
my city.
Woo.
Wow.
I do mean 1, 2, 3, 4.
Single digit.
Yeah, I love it though. When you could put them fireplace and it's snowing outside. It's so picturesque. But like I was telling you guys, it's only nice when you don't have anywhere to go. So I do
Yeah,
feel sorry
right.
for those who have to be on the road or go to work and all of that.
Right.
And hello, our viewing and listening audience. We're glad that you tuned in this evening. So guys, a lot has been happening in our world. We were talking a little bit about the things that we're seeing in our social media feeds and the topics that are popping up on our in our emails and on our news briefings. And some of them were kind of fun and light, like the fact that KFC now has these plant-based
tried 'em.
nuggets. Plant-based nuggets. I've seen a lot of dialogue about that, of course. Oh, but they're still fried in the real chicken grease. So
We don't know
my
that.
goodness.
Ain't nobody
Yeah.
who's back there to check
Listen,
whether or not
who
they.
are
Who cares?
receipts
I
on
heard someone say they saw old cans of Worthington in the dumpster behind the KFC.
Oh,
Maybe that's why they taste so good.
repurpose.
Yeah, I plan to try them. I haven't tried them yet, but you tried them,
Good.
Marlene? You think they're good?
I did. I tried.
I tried them.
Yeah.
They cost way too much, but they were okay.
Way
You're
expensive,
good?
Yeah.
They
GP,
taste good?
They taste okay.
It's not bad. I mean, I thought it was good. I mean,
GP,
Yeah.
they charge you
like
for
cardboard with seasoning, it's not too bad.
Cardboard with seasoning. Wow. Okay.
it wasn't as hard as cardboard.
Well, it's plant-based. It's the fried part that's going to kill you.
Of course. And the salt intake. Yeah, it'll both kill you.
I can tell you, one of my family members thought they were going to give the original recipe around the veggie nuggets, but it didn't happen that way.
Oh, sorry. I know that was a big
It's
disappointment.
it's not the good
and
original recipe.
The other big thing I was seeing a lot is, people have been screaming for these student loans to go away for a long time. And that announcement about Navient.
Wait a minute. I missed it. What did they say?
That was good news.
Breaking
That was
news,
good news.
Marlene, tonight. Breaking news.
I missed it.
Yeah, but yeah. What was there? There were 40 state attorneys who came together. There's a lot of predatory lending that's going on with these student loan companies, and they came together and were saying, hey, you guys need to do something about it. You need to cancel this debt for some of these people that you kind of lured into this lending. I want to call it a scheme where the percentages were so high and things were just ridiculous. And so now they have to was it $1 billion? It's about
$1.9 billion
$1.9 billion
Thanks, Yanni.
settlement. So people are trying to figure, how will I know if I'm on the list? It's like
They said you're gonna get an email, so I'm looking out
so that's
every
what
day. I'm
people are-
checking my
people are
email.
like,
Did
hey.
you say email? Hold on, let me check.
people want to call you and
Yeah.
make sure you have the right email address because I've changed a couple of times.
They
So
said
it's
over
like,
the next few weeks, people will be getting notifications about their status.
all right. So next
So
to
we're
heaven,
saying
But that's
even
only
me
with
or even
Navient,
you.
right? That's just with
Mhm.
Navient.
yeah.
Navient.
But those
Well-
were formerly Sally Mae. So Sally Mae. A lot of those loans were under that.
I used to be with Navient. I
we're really here to talk
Fed
about.
loans now, though.
We're really here to talk about resolutions, and you see people in the chat. They're like, "Wait a minute, hold on, student
Uh-oh.
loans."
So we got some more things, Johnny. In addition
That
to
is the
email,
resolution.
Yep.
they'll send it to your addresses. So
Debt free.
now that doesn't mean that you shouldn't pay the loan until you find out if you're
Pay
gonna
your monthly payments.
Yes, we don't want to set anybody up, but yeah.
Wait a minute. We're still on hold to pay. Well, we don't
Oh well,
pay
yes,
yet
until
till
May. Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
I'm sorry. Okay, yes, this is not about student loans tonight, but this is
No, we have to set up
That's good information.
have a resolution that you pay your student loans. I mean, it's a part of your bill.
That's right. You
Yeah.
can't default on student loans. You can't.
Not a good look.
being a good steward, not being a good steward. But
I'm trying to be
there was
homeowner this year. So should we do a next show on not paying your bills? 7 years they forgive it.
Ah.
I'm just saying.
They're waiting for the year jubilee.
Yeah,
Why am I drinking out of this? Let me see. You guys got your cups? I'm sorry.
Yes, I can't believe you're bringing that purple thing on. What's going on, guys?
My
I'm
bad.
slapping. I'm
What's
slacking.
representing?
I'm slacking.
Yeah, I'm slacking. My bad. We'll work it out.
Went
And
through
that-
all that trouble to make my little tea in this cup,
know,
and you guys come on with thermoses.
I don't even
I-
Chuck, I don't even trust that whatever's in that cup. You know what? We'll talk later.
No,
After.
oh, it's tea. See the tea
Oh, I
baggy
see
things.
it. I see. Good way to fake
Tea.
it. That's what I'm gonna do from now on. Put 2 little strokes.
Right, and it's got ginger in it as well.
Oh, that's good.
Mm.
That's good.
Sounds
He's
good.
trying to prepare his throat
Yeah, that's
for
it.
discussion tonight.
There
And
we go.
speaking of discussion tonight, because this is a good one. This is one that I think everybody who's listening can relate to in some way or another, because either we do it or we don't, or we have an opinion about it or we don't. But
Yep.
So GP, please roll it out for us. What are we talking about tonight?
Yeah. And for those who are watching on YouTube or Facebook, we want to encourage you to share this stream to somebody else, because it will be a blessing to them. So about 4,000 years ago, the ancient Babylonians made promises to gods, lowercase g, to pay their debts and return their objects. And they did that in order to have favor for the incoming year. And many, 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 many years later, the ancient Romans offered sacrifices to their gods for the same reason, to have favor with their deity. And so that was the forerunner of what we now call New Year's resolutions. So now it's not a spiritual thing, it's a secular thing, but we make promises to ourselves. I pray you're not making promises to other gods and deities, but we now make promises to ourselves to not do things or to do things. And so the definition of resolution is a firm decision to do or not to do something, a firm decision to do something or not to do something. So our topic on deck for today is entitled Resolution versus Revolution 2022.
Let me go with the party for real quick before. All right.
Kirk Franklin in the house.
I'll take it out.
Hey, we don't want to get shut down by the Facebook police, but thank you, Pat. So
If we suddenly disappear, folk, you'll know it's
it
Patrick's
was
fault.
Pat's fault. Yes, he wasn't wearing his preaching shoes. So question number one for all of
The
our
holy
listeners,
shoes.
our listeners and viewers on Facebook and YouTube, what are 3 things that were at the top of your resolution list for 2022? Type it in the chat. 3 things, and I'm going to ask my upset family to chime in. What were your 3 things, y'all?
I can't say I set one this time, because I know, as studies show, we always break them, right? We're not so faithful. But if I had to, there would definitely be losing my 15 pounds every year that I'm trying to lose. I do good at the beginning, and then by the holiday, they all come back again. So
That's the time to start.
and then always, drawing closer to God. You want to make that promise, getting up early, for worship, and not sleeping in and missing my worship time. Not that I would miss my worship time, but it would be at different times, and we learned all these studies how God likes us meeting at a particular time for consistency. But that's if I had to think of, and everything else I'd say was okay.
Yeah. All right.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
y'all.
my
Don't even wait
resolution-
on me, because
Hey, listen, my resolutions were simple. I wanted to be more balanced, spiritually,
Mhm.
physically, emotionally. I wanted to not eat any food beyond 8 p.m. I have a habit of
Oh,
eating
that's
8
good.
late at night.
Yep.
Mhm.
And thirdly, Latasha's going to like this one, but before 2022 is over, I will be a proud homeowner.
That's right.
Woo!
Congrats. Yes.
Saying it now.
Great.
But that sounds like a goal versus a resolution.
Well, it's the resolution. I'm a
You gotta be
resolution list.
resolved. You got to be resolved to get it done.
Okay.
Promise yourself.
Well, I can't say that I have 3. I really have one with 3 aspects of it, and it deals with better health. And I didn't wait till January 1. I started December 1. So that I had 30 days to ramp up
There you go.
before the new year comes
like
in. Because if I can do it for 30 days, most likely I'll keep it. So we made some changes, on the health end, and seeing results already.
That's awesome.
All right.
That's great. That's what we like to hear.
That's awesome, guys. I have to be honest with you. I don't. I didn't set
These,
thing at
yeah.
all. I hate to
Lie?
yeah.
Just say it
No,
in
I'm
public
saying, go
area.
ahead.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
I think one of I'm hard on myself. I am super hard on myself. And I know that when I said it, I write it. And if I write it, it's always in front of me, which is something that I will always have to, I would always have to do. So I think the only thing that I could really think of, and I'm talking about mentally, that I said, okay, I gotta do better on is a better relationship with Christ. And I know it sounds corny, but it does sound corny, but it's my thing of saying disconnect from the matrix and have a relationship with him yourself. If there's anything, that would be it. But I have not really sat down and wrote down something and said, let me go ahead and do that. Sorry, y'all. I'm not.
Pat, some people would think that's odd coming from a minister. I say a better relationship with Christ, because automatically, if you're a pastor, you're supposed to be really tight with the Lord, and
Right.
what else is there to improve, but you make a good
Now
point.
we can have a show on that. I mean, we'll be here all day talking about that. But you're right about that. I think that a lot of people feel that because you're a pastor or even a teacher or something, this is something when I start it's going to be about my children, my kids. I'm talking about the students, and I didn't come into the year like that. And then this is crazy, everybody, but I had a lot of visitors. Something I should not have done with this COVID thing that's going around, but I had a lot of visitors, so it didn't give me time enough to think of what was going on. So I have to be honest with you. I'm gonna set a New Year's resolution in March.
That's all right.
Hey, it doesn't matter when it happens, as long as you get it done. That's what I say. And I think for me, I didn't set like 1, 2, 3. I just felt like I had one big one, which was very concentrated, and that was to take some time to eliminate, because you said it was about things we're going to do or not do, eliminate things in my life that have no place. So whether it's my thought process about something that's negative that needs to go, or even literal stuff that I've just held on to that serves me nothing more than taking up space.
Chuck, here she goes.
Right.
Even people that you've allowed to like live in your head and take up unnecessary space. You know what I'm saying?
Some of your co-hosts, yeah.
Right along that, I came across a quote, in preparing for the show, right along what you just said, Natasha. And the quote is, when you let go of the wrong lessons you've picked up throughout your life, you'll find new possibilities.
That's good.
And that's exactly how I feel. And that's what I needed this year. And you mentioned our co-host, and that reminds me, we don't see our good friend Tally here tonight.
He's on assignment.
He's on assignment. But I'm sure he'll be back with us next week. But some of the people in chat put a few in there, GP.
Let's shout them out. Winona said weight loss, better work, church, home balance, and self-care.
Yeah, that's really important.
Very important.
Yeah, because if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll make time for your illness.
Oh,
right.
Ooh, we got to put that in writing.
Yeah,
that's great.
Well, I got one old-fashioned one. No goose, no golden egg.
All right. That's about right. And I think Mitzi, she understands what we're doing here today.
Wow. She's going to the end of our episode already.
You gotta can't show it yet, Mitzi.
That's good. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, resolution is a promise to change, but revolution is change. I don't want to promise. I want to do. That's good.
I don't want her to leave, because I think, I'm glad you put that up for her, because I think she came on here for Tally. That's what I really believe. That's
it started that way, but now
that's one of Tally's people.
Thanks for coming, Miss Mundell.
But you're right. You're right about that. I mean, and here's the funny part about it, guys. Once we've just started talking about it, I mean, how many times we've talked about it in the green room, and now that we're sitting here, I'm thinking to myself, man, how could I be better, or what can I do, or I mean, everybody got this thing that they're doing. I feel like you kind of feel like you're slouching on making a resolution. But I have to say this, and I don't know if anybody agrees with me in the chat. I've not made a New Year's resolution in probably over 10 years, if not
Mhm.
longer than that.
Mm.
I like to I like to jump on things when I feel it. So so if there's something that's going on, some people say, okay, on my birthday, I'm going to change this,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
Mhm.
or the season of spring or whatever. The first year, I understand that, but I'm feeling like I'm listening to what everybody's saying, and I'm saying, hey, I think that I may just write down a couple of things, and see how it works out. But I'm not ready
Yeah.
yet. It's coming.
So
We'll
That's
talk about
because
it more, but I'm
you don't
just not
want
ready
you
yet.
don't want to commit to it. That's what I'm hearing. It's like you
Well,
feel
well,
like
but
it.
Pat, you have a very valid point. When I was studying, they were saying a lot of people would fail in their resolutions because one, they made them too quickly before they really were committed to doing it.
Mhm.
And they said the best thing to do is to make your goals, throughout the year. You don't have to do it by January the 1st or the first of the year. Take your time, decide on something to do and start the revolution where you make the change, and that's how you stay solid.
But
Yeah, that's good.
let me also jump in on this really quick and say this. I know that maybe within the first 2 weeks of where we are now, I've looked back. I did a lot of introspection. I looked backwards and kind of said, how could I do better, or what can I do that's better? And again, like I said in the very beginning, I'm my biggest critic. You know what I mean? Or I don't like to disappoint me. And I think it takes me too long to get out of a hole once I said, look what you have not done. You know what I mean? And so I think I have more fear on how I treat myself and where I put my boundaries than I do with somebody else and putting it out there. Another thing that I do is that when I like to put things on social media in order to push myself. You understand what I'm
Mm.
saying? Or I'll
Mm.
say it to my family.
Accountability. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
To
that's
build
good.
up
That's
that
good.
accountability. So when I'm ready for it, I think that I would. I think I'm an open book. But resolutions for me, it ties me too much to the fence.
Yeah,
But
thanks for your input. So, according to a study conducted by the Journal of Clinical Psychology, get this, y'all, listeners and viewers, only 8%,
Yeah.
Mhm.
8% of people stick to their resolutions. So the question is, what's the secret sauce of those 8%ers? And what do we 92%ers got to do to get on that level?
No, I'm on the 8%. I'm in the 8%.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Uh, I'm in the 92. Well,
I,
I
I,
think I think one good thing I read, and this was so great, was to make your goal fun, right?
Mhm.
When you're choosing something, make it fun, because if you say, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to lose 30 pounds, really? You ain't lose 30 pounds, right? Then you have to make it fun. Yeah, how are you going to lose 30 pounds? Because when it's cold, I'm not going walking in the cold. Some people are just motivated to do no matter what, right? Get a
Right.
dog so it'll make you walk, I don't know. But,
Don't do that. Whatever you do,
you know,
don't do that. But okay.
but one thing was to make it fun, and then to make it a goal. Use short-term goals to get things done. I just thought that was very reflective versus having one big massive promise, and then you don't set goals to achieve it.
Right. Go ahead,
I
Chuck.
think that those of us that are under that are not in the 8%, and in preparing for the lesson, I got a lot of deep dive into what psychologists say and what ministers say, and I kind of boiled it all down to one of the biggest obstacles in keeping resolution is ego.
Mm.
When your ego is in the way, there are decisions you won't make because there are some things you don't want to let go because of your ego.
Mm.
And sometimes we don't look at it from that perspective, and many times we'll make these unrealistic resolutions, knowing that ego is standing in the way.
Mercy.
Chuck, I don't, Chuck.
He stepped on your
What?
holy shoes.
Did I-
No. I think the hardest thing to hear is whether you really want to do that,
Right.
and that's what I'm hearing. I don't know, Chuck, you're a great reader and a great researcher, so we have to talk after the show. The ego, the ego side of it. Maybe you're right. Maybe it'll shatter my ego if I don't.
Mhm. Oh no, I think we all suffer from it. We
No,
all
no,
suffer.
no,
We
no.
all-
It's okay, Chuck.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and pick on me. The thing
Yeah.
is that here's what I here's where I am really with it. Do you really want to change that thing? Do you
Right.
really want to do that? Because if you become a more organized person, that's gonna cause you to be more disciplined. Do you understand what I'm saying? And the truth is that
Mhm.
some of us cannot deal with discipline. Some
Right.
people need like 100 things on the table in order to get it done. Whereas if they only had one or two, they probably would have nothing to do. I'm not saying that about me, but the one thing that as I'm thinking through it, I would love to be a more organized person.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And to be a more organized person says to me, the only person that knows that I'm not organized is me when it comes down to it. Because you can always charm it.
You can
You
look
start
like
up,
it.
that's right. And
Yeah.
you
Fake
can
it.
always look
Mhm.
like it. Right?
So what you're saying without saying, being more organized, you're really interested in lowering your stress. Because when you are disorganized, that's a ticket to bringing on a lot of stress and anxiety.
Yes, and you're right about that. Chuck, you're right about
Living in procrastination.
Dr. Williams, you're sure right about that.
Yeah. Let's give him an honorary doctorate right now.
Yeah, right.
Everyone
Yeah.
type in the
The
chat
guys
right now
go-
for you.
But you know, there are
Congratulations,
two things
Dr.
that come into mind. The two things that come into mind for me, and so again, looking at this, this is a lot deeper subject than most people think. But I see in my research, I see the word determination and will popping up.
Mhm.
Determination, will. And if you don't have the will to do something, you won't do it.
Yeah.
That's the bottom
You'll
line.
But
try, but
But even so, with that Chuck, I agree with you. But I think you need some support too, like what Pat was saying. You really need accountability. Somebody's going to help you. Maintain that goal. Somebody's going to push. Hey, did you do this? Did you do that? And I mean, I think that helps you with your will, because you know how you just start out strong, right? And you're feeling so motivated, and then later on, you kind of lose your way. You kind of get a little distracted. Things happen in life. And we know sometimes, like even as Pat said, we do beat ourselves up. Man, I should have done that. I was really, and this, just forget it, but you started out pretty good. So our endurance is weak.
Pastor, I got a good one for you. Hold on. Let me give you a good one. Whatever it is that you choose, that you want to have resolute, or however you put that, really what knocks you off of that is the one that you really should have changed. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So we kind of pick the one we can handle, the resolution we think we can handle. And like you said, we start off strong with that. But what is it that really stopped us from continuing with it is really the one we really should have picked out to
It's
be
like
able
a
to.
symptom.
Yeah, right.
It
Right.
points out. And just go back to your question about those 8%ers and what they do that helps them succeed. I saw Charlotte put in here, there must be a set time to begin and a definite deadline to work towards. So kind of
Smart
creating
goal.
some structure around what it is you're trying to accomplish. Now, Marlena, you were talking about, accountability and having a support system. I find that with myself, I'm really self-motivated. So I appreciate accountability and I appreciate, but I'm more motivated internally. Like I have to have it within myself, because if I don't, when my accountability partner or whatever turns their back, I could easily slip back. But if I have made it up within my own mind and I'm with myself all the time, I won't turn back on it. So it comes back to what Pat was saying in terms of I have to convince myself that this is really something that I want to do. Once I've done that, I'm good, but that's just my method. And that's the thing. You have to find what works for you and set those things up for you to be successful. If you need accountability, put the accountability. If you need deadlines, set the deadlines. You know yourself well enough, most of us by now, to know what it takes to be successful in things. We just have to
and challenge yourself. One of the things that we do is that we try to pick the easiest thing so that we could say we've made it over or we've done it. And you really can't say that either, because whatever your resolution is should be lifetime, not 1 year, not 2 years. So let's just say I want to pay off debt. Let's use something of that nature. We say, okay, I want to be 22% or 33% of paying off debt by this time. because you paid off debt or because you reset doesn't mean you revert and go back, because then you're going to be at the same spot you were at
Right.
before.
Exactly.
So it's a continuance of it. So I want to be better organized. They'll be better organized now, be better organized later.
Right.
What happens with us, and GP, we were talking about this earlier, is that we become overconfident in something that we know that we think that we can beat, or we think that we can get over on. And just like you said, it's pride. Chuck, you said it's ego. Because when that thing doesn't happen, who has the best excuse? We have the best excuse to why it didn't happen, or why we couldn't pass February, or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And so I get you with that, Latasha, when you talked about who's your accountability. If you can't be your own accountability in pushing yourself, then what sense does it make? Because we're going to find a fallback either way.
Yeah. And as you were talking about lifestyle, I thought about what it means. It means falling in love with the process, you know, a commitment, level of dedication daily. You know, it sounds like a renewal, a consecration that happens. Like, hey, I'm going to do this again today. You know, so it's that consistency that counts as you work towards your goal. It's not the end, the finish line, but it's the process that you fall in love to and stick with.
And adding to that, you know, people always talk about what's your why. The same thing applies to the resolutions that you make. Your why has to be big enough and important enough for you to make that a resolution. So if you say, I want to lose weight because I want to be healthier, I want to be there for my children and my grandchildren, that why can serve as a big motivator. But if your why is weak,
I want to fit into this cute swimsuit by the summertime.
You're like,
and then when summer's over,
another dress, it's okay. Or
you blow up again.
Hold on, GP. Hold on. You know, don't let people don't miss what he just said. You say I can't fit in this, but you know the maker can make something bigger.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily that, okay, the summer is over, so let me go ahead and do whatever I want to do. They make bigger bikinis, they make bigger coveralls, they make bigger whatever the case may be. And you know what, we're talking about women. I always wanted to gain weight instead of losing weight. And I did last year.
I was about to say you did, didn't you?
Oh man, I put on 17 pounds, but it
you stopped.
Stop lying, Pat. Stop lying. You stopped smoking crack.
No. I stopped smoking crack 2 years ago. So that's not that's not them.
Oh yeah.
But Chuck, I had it right here. It was in my stomach to the
So you lost your six pack.
He had the dad gut.
Became a big
so
big old keg now.
You wanted to gain weight.
But I gained it all in the wrong place.
Oh, wow.
And not the right way.
Chuck said,
Chuck was like, wow.
Okay.
He looks like he want to lie you down on the couch. Wow.
You know what else I find is a motivator, or it can be a motivator for keeping resolutions. If you make resolutions or promises to yourself, I think truth does that. When you get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, that can be a motivator.
Yeah.
If you get the truth about your health picture, if you're determined as morbidly obese, and I bring that up because I had a friend who went to the doctor, you know, went through the checkup and all, and his doctor said, you are morbidly obese, and if you do not lose weight, you will die.
But Chuck,
that's a motivator.
But Chuck, how many people we've seen that? We have family members. We've seen that type of stuff, and we've seen people get to the point of where the doctor even tells them, and they still not won't be able to do it. But I go by your first statement. I go by your first statement. You see me, I know this is going to sound real crazy, everybody, and maybe I have been doing a resolution I just won't tell myself, but I always have.
Oh, he's got 2 pads.
Always have no, I like yellow pads, like one for work, you know.
Okay, I got you.
One for washing dishes.
Well, sounds like some organization there.
Well, it is an attempt. The problem is that I got to write on it.
You just
Right.
So
yeah, true.
So the real truth is that I have to say to me, I have to say, Pat, is this something that you really want to do? And I notice that if I don't tell somebody, then I really don't want to do it. I have to tell.
But hey, then that's accountability. Having someone.
I'm not any of you though. That's gonna be for sure. Not any
But
of you.
do you find yourself compromising a resolution based on ego, as I mentioned, when you say it's something you really don't want to do, but you make a promise, but you really don't want to do it? There's something that's going on in the psyche that says, well, if you do that, you know you're going to have to sacrifice something.
Chuck.
And sometimes we don't want to
Chuck,
sacrifice something.
let's be realistic to this right now. There, and Latasha said it earlier. When you want to grow, you have to prune. And if you want to grow, you have to say there are certain things around you that must prune. We have to admit that we want to prune that thing. And so if you don't admit to pruning it, then, like you said, if ego is involved, it could be. You got to be able to cut that out. I was in I have a friend that we had a misunderstanding or whatever the case may be, and I knew that he was not a good part of my life. But man, when we hung out, we just have a. So I got to ask myself, to be a better person, do I cut out this guy? Do I cut out drinking with him and smoking with him? Do I cut out, cussing and carrying up? Man, we're about 15th and the 30th.
Wow.
Lose our job.
Wow. Wow, Pat. I need to find a 12-step program for your resolution.
You're asking
12-step program for a resolution. Not keeping them, come here.
Right.
But I'm serious about that cutting though, pruning.
Yeah.
True that. True.
You have to want to do that. If you don't want to do that, you're not gonna grow.
Like what GP was saying, that not eating after 8, I mean, 10 o'clock, if you just get one cookie, right? I know that one cookie will help me. That's going to help me make it to the morning, right? You got to get those cookies out the house.
Sorry. Won't work.
I'm not even
like
commenting
being on
on
crack.
that. I'm not doing that. Period. Yeah. I'm eating at 8, 9.
No. Here, going back to this truth thing and relating it to eating after a certain amount of time. We were doing a show here in the studio. It was a health series, and they had the host had a doctor come on who specialized in digestion and all that. And he said that the reason why you shouldn't really eat after 6 is because your digestive system starts shutting down around 3 or 4 o'clock. So if you cram a dinner in at 6, it's not going to digest well. You're not going to sleep well. I know, Pat. It's okay. Yeah, check the recording.
Be motivated by your belly.
And then see, I'm sitting in the studio and I'm going, and I started connecting the dots. So I heard a truth that affected me, and I decided I'm not eating any meals after 6 p.m.
Wow.
Because now I know why. Now I know why. I heard the truth as to how my body reacts late at night. It's like the digestion department is shut down for the night, and here you throw down the KFC veggie chicken.
Mercy.
And they're saying like, oh, what's this?
Like I'm off.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So
did you start trimming down, Chuck? Did you trim down?
Oh yeah. The first, when I started that, a couple of years ago. Yeah. And when you trim down, see, that's the other thing too. So I'm going to lose weight in 3 months. I'm going to lose 50 pounds. No, you're not. You're not going to lose 50 pounds. It takes most people, lose pounds and keep them off.
Right.
That's the other side. Oh, I lost 50 pounds. And then 2 months later, you get 60 back.
Right.
So I would rather lose weight gradually. I mean, I would rather celebrate 2-3 pounds a month.
That's right.
For 18 months.
Right.
But I know they're not coming back. So
lifestyle
change. Yes.
Right.
In the Pathfinders, in the youth ministries, we always push our young people to start a Bible year, especially at the beginning of the year. And I think that that's something that's great on a spiritual standpoint. The thing
Explain
is,
what that is, Pat. Explain what that is, a Bible year.
I read the Bible before, Chuck.
No.
I'm kidding.
I mean,
Like all
what's
sensitive,
Hey, Chuck.
is it a program? Is it a special
No,
program?
Oh my
I was playing,
goodness.
but you know, especially with the Pathfinder organization, as they move
Mhm,
through, they could actually read the Bible throughout the whole year.
mhm.
And it's even come to the point where people started to read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, which didn't really make sense to them because they weren't getting an understanding of it. They were just
Right.
reading it and
Right.
really counting the words. But they started to come up with a way of being able to start in the Gospels or start with the Gospels and come back to one of the first 5-6 books of the Bible so that there could be a balance. I like that word, balance.
Balance.
So that you're not reading it to say, I read the Bible. You're
Right.
reading it so that there could be a relationship. And I
Yeah.
think that, and the reason why I'm saying that is because many times I will do something to say that I've done it. And I'd rather do something that has meaning or the revolution. You got me, GP.
Mm.
Or the resolution to be something that's going to be something that's going to be meaningful, not for me to sit there with a gigantic calendar and just keep checking off the mark that I didn't do this today. It has to
Right.
be
Right.
bigger than that.
That
The
is the
change has to be
revolution.
there.
Yeah. Can we go to some comments? We've
Yeah, I
seen
was gonna
some
say
engagement
we have a
on
lot of
Facebook and
wisdom, a
YouTube.
lot of wisdom.
Yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of good stuff coming up.
Yeah.
So let's see. This from Winona again. Part of sticking to it is seeing your big picture, imagining yourself there, and planning your small steps.
Mhm.
Reward yourself in intervals for making strides towards that goal. That's
Oh, that's nice.
Mhm.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow,
That's nice.
that's pretty good. Does she have office hours?
I know.
Man.
Tell them how
Hey,
much you charge, Winona. Tell them,
and
honey.
you could
Yep.
feed your ego with those rewards. Anyway, we'll talk about that.
No,
We'll talk about that.
and this is TLG. At first, I thought it was T. This is something that you were saying, Pat. You also have to want to change, not just talking about it, and that's also for spiritual change as well, which is usually
Well,
a lot of people's list. Charlotte says usually there are numerous little habits that must be eliminated before you reach the big object, and that was something you were
mhm.
referring to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Those little wins. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then, of course, this is very true. I think we sometimes
Mhm.
forget this in the process, believe it or not, even as
That's
Christians.
right.
Without Christ, we can do nothing on our own.
Yeah. After that comment, let's pivot into this question. So we know that there are 8%ers who are believers, 8%ers who are unbelievers, 92%ers who are believers, 92%ers who are unbelievers. We as believers, regardless on which side that you're on, we have a superpower, and it's called the Holy Spirit, right?
Amen. Mhm.
The old folks used to say the Holy Spirit helps you to live right, helps you to talk right, helps you to do right,
Amen.
helps you to be
Preach,
right.
son.
Mhm.
Woo!
Easy,
But
Preach
boy,
the
it.
reality
easy,
is
easy.
that as believers, shouldn't we be a part of the elite 8
And
just
just
because of
like
that
the
power?
Holy Spirit, you disappeared. Yeah.
Yep.
You speak
At least
knowledge,
we
then.
can hear him. At least we can hear him.
We should be,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. My camera's gonna come on in a second, but shouldn't we
Yes.
be a
Okay.
part of the elite 8 because we have the power of the Holy Spirit?
Yeah.
We literally have everything we need when we have that. I mean, that's what it boils down to. But it also boils down to, do we believe that?
And you
Because
have right.
yeah, because
Yeah, and then you have to factor in discipline.
right.
Are
That's
we
right.
disciplined? I mean, discipline, that's kind of like the root of what a disciple is.
That's right.
And you have to ask for the help. Ask for it.
And I hate to go around this. I hate to go all the way around this again. But man, I'm glad Tally is not here because he would be killing me with this Bible stuff.
You know, he's
There's
gonna
some
see it, right?
things you can't do because you don't have faith to be able to do it. Um, um, and Satan also, I'm not going to give Satan any credit, but Satan knows our propensities and will use them as weaknesses towards us.
Mhm.
I'm going in your direction, GP, though, as far as the 8% is concerned. Every day that we wake up and we devote our lives to Christ and make decisions every day. Do you know the amount of decisions you make in one day?
Mhm.
And when you make those decisions for Christ, it should be about some goal that you have for even that day or that week or whatever is coming your way. We are being humans, do not have the strength to make it through the day. So
Right.
that 8%, I'm not sure who or what. You have to have power from the Spirit or power from a superpower. And the reason why I say superpower is because even in the field of counseling, even if you don't believe in God or you're atheist, they say, let this thermos be something that you concentrate on, or to be the big God in your life or whatever. There's always got to be something bigger than you that's going to push you to the new you. Must be.
Absolutely.
All right. Anybody else want to chime in on that question?
You scared me, GP.
I
Why?
know.
Because I disappeared? I vanished?
I think the 8%, as we're referring to them as, are people that know how to prioritize. When you get up in the morning and you look yourself in the mirror, you are the priority.
Come on.
You see, a lot of times we skip meals, we skip rest, we skip devotion because some other factors we've allowed to prioritize our time and our existence.
Are you killing me now?
And we're talking about self-care.
Come on, man.
If you don't take care of yourself, if you don't prioritize yourself, then all those resolutions could break down easily. A lot of and I think we're all a little bit guilty of this. We don't prioritize ourselves.
Sure.
And we're afraid to use the term self-love. But if you don't, you're going to end up, let's face it, the world has all kind of plans for you. If you don't make any plans for yourself, they already got plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
spiritually, Satan got plans for you.
Absolutely. So if you don't prioritize yourself, if you don't say, these are my priorities in the morning, and if you're accustomed to skipping meals, no, not skipping meals anymore. If you're accustomed to rushing around and doing things not as well as you could do them because you're rushing, then stop rushing. You have to really put your priorities in place. And, if you can't always go with the crowd, if people say, hey, aren't you coming? No, not today.
Or Chuck, or pick your crowd. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Latasha.
No, you were talking about more of us as Christians. Shouldn't we make up that 8%? And Carrie said something that I was thinking about.
Oh my goodness, here she comes.
So she asked this question. So are we setting ourselves up for shame or guilt when we fail? The typical religious perspective takes us back to the, oh, ye of little faith label. And I was going to say, that's probably why it's Christians, we don't necessarily go and ask for help from the Holy Spirit or God as often as we should, because there are things we do that we know we shouldn't do.
Right.
So there's a certain amount of shame where,
right.
Lord, I can't even come ask you this because I know I shouldn't be doing this anyway. It's kind of like with kids, like with parents. Your kids, they do something that you've asked them not to do, and then they find themselves in a bind, and they don't want to come to ask you for help because they know you're going to say, I told you not to. But all of us who are parents, we know that if they were to come to us, we want to help them because we want them to understand, again, why they shouldn't do it. And that's the same thing with God. That's the same thing with the Holy Spirit. He wants us to ask him for help because he wants us to have that desire, and he wants to give us the strength that we need to get through it. So I think that's the hurdle we have to get over in our minds, that he knows it anyway. He sees the struggle anyway. Why not ask for help from the one who can really give it to us?
I want to jump. I want to, this is really, I feel like I'm in a therapy session. But I mean, it's this one thing I want to say about this is that GP has sent this to us earlier. Get your reasons right. Get your reasons right. And the reason why I like that piece, because listen, as we go through this, all of us should be doing introspection on ourselves. I know our fans are listening, and those who follow us are listening, but the truth is that as we're going through all of this, you have to look at yourself and say, my gosh, why am I doing what I'm doing? Is it for someone else, or is it for me? There's one thing, and this is what Kerry said, Dr. Williams said, it's the shame. Isn't she a doctor? I'm sorry. I thought she was music. My fault.
I put that quote on her desk before I left the house.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
I love it.
I'll get something thrown at me when I get
I can't wait. Here's the thing. Shame and guilt is deep, and it cuts deep. And and I'm thanks for putting it out there, GP, putting it out in the comments, because I want people to be able to look at this. That's why I said before, when I make things public, it makes me say I got to get that done, which is wrong, Pat Graham. The reason why it's wrong is because I'm doing it now, not on an accountability level. I know what accountability is, but I'm doing it now so that I don't have to be shamed, and I don't have that guilt of saying, wow, you didn't make it, or you didn't hit that mark, or whatever. I'll take it. My friends understand this. There was a time, some of us work together. I said, I'm going to make $100 grand this year in the market. And I did. And I was feeling all nice.
And then you lost.
Marlene,
how much did you lose?
We didn't ask you to add in anything.
Finish my story.
We didn't ask you to add that in. And
I'm not saying
anything. Chuck, please don't say anything. And I remember how I felt and how it made me feel that I reached that point. But then something happened after that, and I didn't even reach a year yet. You understand what I'm saying? So now, where I was able to say, hey guys, I did it, you can do it too. Let's roll. Now I'm like, okay, everybody, I see you in 3 months. Let me see how this is going to work out. The accountability level that it has, but when you back it up, it has to be what you want and what you want alone, and it has to be for the right reasons. Many times we do things spiritually also. I'm coming, Marlene. Many times we do things, even spiritually, it's not for the right reason.
And there's something that we keep saying that I think we have to look at differently. There's nothing in life that we will do that will not have ups and downs. It will not have, process and failure, progress and failure. So when we fall, we just get back up. I mean, if I set a goal, Pat, I want to talk about you. You won all that money,
Nah,
and
you
then
go
you
ahead,
lost
you go ahead,
money.
go ahead.
I don't want to talk about you. But when we fail, we just have to get back up. I think that's what's very important. Set goals that we can achieve.
Marlena, there's a lady in the chat. Her name is Carrie Williams. Oh, it's the same lady. Carrie Williams, same lady.
My goodness.
Can we shift perspective from only resolving to do right and add to that persistent plan in getting, because Marlene, you just said it, that's why, in getting back on track. Wow.
The gospel according to
Kirk
Franklin.
Yeah, I think I still got it. Do I got it?
That song's gonna be playing in our head all week.
Thank you, Sister Carrie.
So I have a question. What is the difference between a promise and a covenant?
For some reason, my camera is about to go out. I can feel the internet just like it's not working.
I was reading up about this too. And what I was seeing about a covenant, I mean, we make promises all day long. Whether it's to ourselves, to our kids, to coworkers, I'll get that to you. Come on. What seems very special about a covenant is that it has to do with relationship, like relationship between the two individuals. And of course, when we hear covenant, of course, we think about, spiritual covenants. And, especially, we see so many of them in the Bible, but then too, being married, that was always, one of the most sacred covenants. And all of it has to do with relationship. And we see even the whole Bible is about reconciling, Christ trying to reconcile this relationship with his creation. And so just to keep my response brief, I see a covenant as being more geared towards relationship than just, I said I was going to do this and I did it.
That's good.
The whole covenant thing scares me because when I think about God and his covenant towards us, and by the way, Tasha, I agree with you 100%. I'm not even trying. I'm glad Tally's not here to talk about something that we can't grasp. But when I think about,
we have to have our dictionaries and our thesauruses,
with thesaurus or something like that, or we have to go back to school and learn something. When I was reading Winona's thing. I think about when God would talk to his prophets, to his people, and it's crazy. Not wanting to preach, but I remember the story of Noah here in Genesis 6 and I think verse 13, he said to him, I'm going to save your children. I'm going to save your wife. And it was years before he was even married that he made that statement to him. In the planning stages, he made a covenant with him. The reason why Noah knew it was going to happen, because a covenant with God meant if God should break his own covenant, there shall no longer be a God. And God is not committing suicide, so it's not going to happen. So could you imagine the same thing that he told Noah is the same thing, is same way that we should be living in our lives? Or when we make a promise or we make a covenant, it really means I make this covenant with you, or shall I surely die? That's why it's scary to me.
And that's the other thing. It's mutual. You know, I'm looking at it's mutual. Both people, because you can make
That's
a
right.
promise to somebody, they don't have to promise anything back to
That's
you.
right.
A
That's right.
covenant means we have both decided that if I do this, then you're going to do that. You know, that's
Yeah, that's why at weddings you exchange vows.
right.
Yeah.
Right. In front of people.
Yeah.
No,
And if you-
that's important. In front of
Yeah.
people as
Yeah.
witnesses.
Right.
Yeah, and if you look in the Old Testament, you see that God made a covenant with his people, but despite their fickleness, and even though they didn't keep their end of the promise, God was still faithful
Keep his.
in spite of their
That's
fickleness.
right.
Right.
That's
So
right.
when you think
That's
about
right.
your life and those times that you say, God, oh God, I'm gonna pray every day, I'm gonna read my Bible, I'm gonna do better. And 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks go by, and you've been fickle with God, but yet God still wakes you up the next morning. God is still faithful to you, still providing for you, still turning up for you. And so we serve a God who is faithful to us in spite of our fickleness.
Amen. And that's a good thing about the covenant, because God even knows our weaknesses. He knows
That's
that we need him
That's
in
right.
order to, fulfill the covenant. That's the good thing. And so covenant kind of includes a promise, though, doesn't it? Doesn't a covenant encapsulate a promise where you are, committed that you're going to do something?
Yeah. And
Well, what does the Bible say? If you love me, you will
Keep.
what?
Keep my
keep my
commandments.
commandments.
Which a covenant includes obedience.
And that's a relationship issue right there.
That's what Tasha was saying in the beginning.
And when you think about a covenant with God, okay, so we talk about marriage. It's a popular covenant. We go into covenant with our spouses, and some of us crossing our fingers. Because we're human, we can make a mistake. If I might be doing this, then you might do something else. But when we go into a covenant with God, we actually can count on the fact that He's going to hold up His end of the bargain. Okay,
Right.
so I know. So it's
See,
like.
And when you make a covenant with God, that's a serious thing, because I can attempt to make a covenant with one of you and not keep it,
Right.
because I can hide it from you.
Mercy.
You cannot hide it from
That's
God.
right. That's true.
So if you make the covenant, and you fail, you can't think that, oh, God didn't see this. But one of the most powerful promises or covenants that we can live by every day, and that is, God says, I will never leave you nor forsake you.
Yeah.
So what does that mean even in our daily lives, Chuck? If God is so faithful to us in everything, that thing that I really want to overcome, that thing that I want to grow in, if I include Jesus in this thing, it can't fail.
Right.
Even if there are times that, I have moments where, I'm not as strong as I was before, or if I'm poorly motivated, Jesus is going to help me. That is the good thing when we include Jesus in everything that we do.
Yeah.
But here's the big part of this, is that when you include, when you live every day with the covenant in front of you, it changes your behavior every day, right? So, for example, I had a dream, and I believe in my dreams. I had a dream. God said, when you go to this place, I was
trying to
going
be
there.
Joseph.
No. Listen, I know when he's talking to me, and I know when I ate too much past 8 o'clock. I know the difference. But I think I was going to Seattle. I believe it was. I forgot what it was. And God spoke to me and told me not only what I was going to talk about, but the person who I was going to pull out in the call, even if it was by themselves. I remember we got on the plane, This person was having an anxiety attack on the plane because they felt the plane was going to crash.
Mm.
And I literally sat next to that. I said to the person, I said, listen, you okay? I said, how do you know? Because I'm on board. No, I know it sounds like big-headed and all of that.
No, I get you.
But
Get you on that.
that's what I mean by it changes your behavior. It gives you that broad-chested Holy Ghost thing when you know that the covenant, when God makes a covenant with you, you're not dying today. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not going to happen because he sent you somewhere. It's not going to happen.
Right.
So that's the reason why I said, if we continue to live in the covenant, remember, you can live in the covenant. The covenant is not just a promise, but you're living in the covenant. Like we hear first day people say, which we should be saying more.
Right.
We live in this new covenant. We don't say
That's right. That's
Right.
right.
we curse that thing. Once saved, always saved. I live in this new covenant. No, when you live in God's promises or his covenant, your behavior changes, you know. And that's where the real Christian comes out. That's where tell you the truth, that's where the real revolution comes around.
Yeah.
When you live that on a daily basis.
Right.
Yeah.
You enacting change. You know, on that flying thing, I used to be afraid to fly. I despised flying because I was, just petrified getting in an airplane, even as often as I have flown. And a friend of mine said to me one day, and it was like a snapping moment. He says, Chuck, you're not afraid to fly. You're afraid to die.
Come on.
What's going on here?
And when I heard that, I said, that's really what it is.
You're about to
That's really what it is.
Chuck, I agree with you. There are times that I fly. When I get on that plane and I'm feeling good, me and God are all right.
Dig that.
Those times I'm feeling nervous. I say, oh, Jesus, let me make sure things are all right between you and I, because I'm feeling nervous, I'm like, make sure, I'm thinking, wait a minute, did I make sure I
You ever fly in the turbulence?
Right, Oh, yes, I have.
Yeah.
I flew in
an election.
Hey, can we bring this back though?
What?
Don't we live that every day with the resolutions that we have? Don't we go through turbulence every day?
Come on,
we do.
Come on.
We get to those places in our lives where we say, "Wait, God, I thought you were walking with me through all of that." You know the old thing. No, that's the time I carried you when it was the first with the footprints.
Yeah.
There are times when we go through when we the thing we said we're gonna do. And remember now, resolution is not just on something we say we're going to do, but there's a lot of little wins that come along with that and losses that come along with that, right?
Yeah.
Those are the times when you have to say, oh, God, stick with me on this one, because I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do A, B, and C, or how long. And that's when the promises come alive.
Amen.
About 2 or 3 years ago, the conference office, Latasha, I think you can remember, not the conference office, the whole conference was in the promises of God. I think Pastor Fordham wanted it that way. And there are 100 and something promises that's in the Bible. And just to think, that thing could take you through half the year and then double it again and take you through half the year again.
Yeah.
I think it's like 100 and something. If not more than that, I think it was like 100. The point I'm making to this, and that I believe that if you want to do it, you can.
Yeah.
Through Christ Jesus. That's right. That's
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Marlene.
And I just want to say, because we already know that there's an enemy who fights against us just because we're on the Lord's side.
Come on.
And if he can distract or make us upset with, our simplest, the most simplest goal, just to get preaching. If he could, make us fall in the smallest thing, because he knows that he can discourage us and we lose focus. But we say, through Christ, I can do all these things, right?
Yes.
I'm telling you guys, even with my 15 pounds, I look in the mirror. Oh my goodness. I said, Jesus, help me with this thing. Because it's you that will help me to do what's right, to be faithful, as Chuck has said, speak truth,
Marlena, God may not want
will and determination.
God may not want you to lose those 15 pounds.
Oh, yes, he does. Yes, he does. Oh, he does.
Reeling in that, reeling in that flying metaphor.
Yeah.
Have Have you ever flown into what's the small airport in Chicago? Not O'Hare, the Midway.
Oh my
You ever
gosh.
fly into Midway? There's
Yeah.
always turbulence.
Yeah.
You fly into New Orleans, always turbulence.
Disaster.
I was sitting on a plane. I was sitting next to a preacher. He wasn't an Adventist preacher. Now follow me now. When you go into turbulence, the plane goes up and down, bobs left and right, and the fear kind of starts to build in you. You know, you could tell the veteran flyers, they're still looking at the Wall Street Journal.
Here we
Yes.
go. Here we go. Chuck.
Yes.
But
he's gonna take us there.
but when you come out of the turbulence, especially when you're coming in and landing, that plane is bobbing back and forth. And when that landing gear hits and that plane evens out, what happens? Folk clap.
Oh, yes.
Right? Yeah. You know what that is? Celebration.
That's right.
Oh, stop, Chuck. Stop.
Are you?
Come on, Chuck.
That's what it is.
Yes, sir.
I got to take that B3 from you.
Yeah. Okay.
When do we celebrate
Have
those
mercy.
victories?
Have
Man,
mercy.
Chuck,
Come on.
man.
Yep.
Come on.
That's,
Oh, my
that's the
goodness.
show. That's the end of the
Listen,
That's
folks,
That's
right
good.
here.
we are cleared. We are cleared for landing.
Yeah.
I pray that
Right.
God will allow us to soar in 20 and 22. I pray that your
Mm.
resolutions will not just be resolutions, but a ultimate revolution. And I'll turn it back over to my producer because this show.
Yeah, man.
That was good. That was
great.
good, Chuck.
Great.
I bow to you, my friend.
Man, he's not even a pastor. He just landed that plane like, yo, we coming in on this one. And he know that he got it from this lady named Carrie.
Uh-uh.
Well,
We
they are
exchanged notes.
one. They are one. One in the spirit.
No, this is
Yeah.
rich. This has been rich, and this is not even this is not the 1st of January. This is what, the 16th of January.
It's the first month of the year.
Our second
so-
show, though. Our second.
So
Mhm.
Yeah.
what I'm saying that to say that it's never too late to start.
Yeah.
the
Absolutely.
to start the revolution. New Year's resolutions may be, expired, but the revolution can start anytime.
Right.
That's
And,
right.
and one of the things I was, as we close, I am closing. I'll go
Take
and
your
I'm going
notes.
to back up. Is that we have to realize that successful people don't stop when they fail. They get back up and keep going.
Right.
And so
That's
I think
right.
that's one of the things we need to remember in all this. Even when we have a setback, don't throw in the towel.
Hey.
Keep getting back up and moving on
Right.
and go further.
Failure is when you don't get back up.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Let's keep that in our spirits this week as we tackle everything that comes at us, whether it's work, personal.
Yeah.
Let's stay focused. It's okay when you have a setback. Just get right back on
Ooh,
track.
can I say something right quick before we
Oh,
close?
boy, here we go.
Your setback is a setup
Uh-oh.
for you to soar.
There you go.
Man.
Your setback
Excellent
is a
point.
setup.
That's
for
why
you
we
to
glory in tribulation. Yep. Go ahead.
Come on
buddy.
now.
Go ahead,
Well,
buddy.
the plan here now, everybody.
That's why the Upset podcast is upset.
Yeah,
Upset.
upset. Please send your finances. over to
There's
Charles
always a
Williams
false
show.
prophet
Right.
around wanting more money.
Yeah, we don't have any more.
Where
prayers,
can folk write? Where can they write us?
The
Yeah.
doors of upset are now open.
Yes, we like to keep the dialogue going. If you want to share something with us, we do read all the emails. We read all the show suggestions and topics you want us to cover. They're all in the queue. We're discussing them. So if there's a topic maybe that this discussion has kind of churned up in you, send it to us so we can add it to our roster of things that we
Yeah.
want to talk
We
about.
want to hear your story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We want to hear how and let's continue to share our success stories. Maybe we'll have a future show where we do that. We celebrate
Right.
those things
Yeah,
Exactly.
that we're staying on track with, or that we've committed to. Well, guys, it's been great. I love all the comments. If you're watching this show either on YouTube or Facebook, go back and read the comments from the other side, because there's a lot of great comments that we didn't even get to. That's very rich for you to listen to and to read. All right, guys, it's been great.
Yes.
Before we go, I know we're doing it. We're pressing. We're coming up close on it. But Pat, can you just play that revolution thing just one more time, so that it stays in
And
our
just segue right on into the
yes.
to
So
the
we'll
theme.
do that, and then
There you go.
And happy MLK Day. I want to say
yes,
that.
Yes.
oh my
Oh,
goodness.
that's right.
Absolutely.
No, we
That's
gotta
right.
pause. We gotta pause now.
Mhm.
before you
And
do
if you don't see the Upset podcast anymore, you know YouTube took us down.
Yeah, you too. Yeah.
Go ahead, Pat. Roll it.
But before you
Roll
do
that beautiful being music.
It's all
but-
about revolution. This goes very well with
I gotta,
MLK.
I'm sorry, producer. This Mitzi Mundell. We need to go ahead and give Tally a call. She's keep asking for him. Mitzi,
He'll be checking the comments later, I'm sure. And
send our best wishes to Pastor T. He's fired, by the way.
He's retired, so he can't be fired. So.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh, that's right. All right, guys.
See y'all.
It's about the revolution.
Bye, guys. Blessed
Bye-bye.
week. Blessed
We'll
week.
see you
Take care.
guys. Bye-bye.